If your feelings get hurt too easily, this is probably not the podcast for you, because these guys... What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Kadie, and this is where we talk all things personal development, mindset, and money. And today we are talking about one of my favorite topics, podcasts. I love podcasts, so much so that I created my own, WORKTHRIVE, where I speak with some incredibly ambitious women who have redefined the meaning of work for themselves, from entrepreneurs to career leaders to thought leaders to women who have just gone and done the damn thing. And I speak to them about their journey, what it takes, the high, the lows, and everything in between. So feel free to check it out. I'll leave the link in my description box below. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to share with you some of my favorite podcasts that have helped me in business, in life, in health, in relationships, everything. Podcasts that have really pulled me together and helped me get my together, because sometimes sis needs it. What I love about podcasts is that I'm able to listen to them and do other things. So whether I'm driving or I'm doing laundry or I'm in the middle of designing something or I'm planning something out, I'm able to digest the information that is being shared while still also be able to do and continue with my commitment, because time is valuable. So let's get straight into it. And these are in no particular order at all. A podcast that I really love, and at this point I think I've listened to every single episode, is Side Hustle Pro with Nicola Matthews-Okome. I don't just love this podcast because she's Jamaican, like me, but Nicola is an incredible interviewer. And Side Hustle Pro explores the journey of bold Black women who have gone on to turn their passion projects into profitable income. These women are so vulnerable and open and courageous. I mean, some of these episodes really give you perspective on what it takes to truly build a business as a Black woman. And let me tell you something, it is not always pretty. But what I love about this podcast is that these women share their lessons, they share their journey, and they remind you that it is so possible to realize your dreams and to build the thing that you wish existed. When I say the content is rich in work ethic and stamina that these women have had to maintain over periods of time to be able to translate their ideas into dreams, it is beyond me. They inspire you and they motivate you and they encourage you. Sometimes it's like being hugged, because somebody finally affirms you how difficult it is to truly build something that you believe in, and something that you know that is needed and that is necessary, something that will serve a community. And for me, it's a form of representation for me, because it's not often that we see people who look like us in positions that some of these women have been able to scale themselves into. And so if you are a woman, specifically if you are a Black woman building a business, this is probably the podcast for you. Another podcast that I really enjoy, and to be honest, I think this is the very first podcast I ever started to listen to, is The Secret to Success with Dr. Eric Thomas and CJ, Carl, and now Jamal. And let me tell you something. If you don't like being told the truth, if your feelings get hurt too easily, this is probably not the podcast for you, because these guys are raw. They tell you, they will call you out and you don't even realize that you needed to be called out. They explore the journey of making Dr. Eric Thomas the #1 motivational speaker in the world, and everything in between, from him being a high school dropout and homeless to now being the #1 motivational speaker in the world. They explore the realities of building a brand so big and all the lessons that they've learned in between. They are candid, they challenge you, they inspire you, they motivate you, they encourage you, and they give you permission to truly be honest and vulnerable about where you are, so that you can actually move on to where you want to be. They share gems upon gems, from business gems, branding gems, to personal development gems, to real estate. I mean, there are so many things that you can actually get from this podcast, and easily it is one of my favorite podcasts, and they do it with humor, that you can even know that you're not doing your best and you be called out on it and still, chuckle about it a little bit. And the thing I love the most about it is that they are open with the sacrifices that they've had to make on the journey of building the kind of brand and the kind of careers and businesses that they do have, all whilst maintaining the integrity of being husbands and fathers and brothers and friends. They truly explore the holistic reality of entrepreneurship and business building and brand building, regardless of the generation, across the board. Another podcast that I really enjoy is The Professional Troublemaker by Lovey Ajayi-Jones. If you do not know who Lovey Ajayi-Jones is, listen to her TED Talk about fear, and then buy her book, I'm Not Judging You, The Do Better Manual. Lovey is hilarious. And what I love about this podcast that she hosts is that Lovey candidly collects you. In her solo episodes or the episodes where she has guests, Lovey sparks conversations with people who have dared to venture beyond fear to realize the potential of their impact or their purpose or their activism. Lovey really sparks a level of reflection that pulls you to really sit with yourself and recognize where you have been holding fear in areas of your life and where you can really go beyond it to realize who you could be and the potential of who you truly are. Lovey is an incredible speaker, interviewer, writer, change maker, troublemaker. She fully gives herself permission to be herself, and by doing that, she inspires you to be yours as well. Another podcast that I truly enjoy is The School of Greatness by Lewis Howes. Lewis is a former pro athlete turned lifestyle coach, entrepreneur, New York Times bestselling author, host, so many things. And what I love about Lewis and these conversations is that he is a student of the game. He is incredibly humble, and he's so committed to understanding the journey and the stories of his guests that he asks the questions that that you want. And he asks them with such humility and such grace that you cannot help but just admire his ability to really pull his guests in. And he speaks with some of the world's greatest thinkers and doers, from the late great Kobe Bryant to New York Times bestselling author and activist Glennon Doyle to Dr. Brené Brown. He really dives into the journey and the lifestyle and the habits and the realities of what it takes to be great and what it takes to fully pursue one's best self in every area of their life. And so if you want to truly level up, this is probably the podcast. You start here because it is holistic. And finally, My Taught You by Myleik Teele, founder of Curlbox. Now, I'm just going to say this. This is a Myleik Teele fan account, okay? Myleik is a force to be reckoned with. She is the big sister that I never had. She shares so candidly and honestly and truthfully and sometimes brutally the truth, the reality of everything that she has learned going from an intern to a multi-million-dollar business owner and founder. Everything from relationships and setting boundaries to work ethic and how you need to show up on the job, even if it's not what you want to do. Myleik pulls you together, and she's so open and so honest about her own struggles and how she's navigated them that you cannot help but just simply respect it. You have to simply give her respect because she deserves it in so many ways. She gives practical gems away on this podcast for free. how she started to save a ton of money, you know, the things she started to do so that she could get a promotion, how she launched Curl Box, what she did, what she didn't do, how she shows up for herself, how she shows up for other people. Miley tells the truth, and she shows up so candidly and so openly and so vulnerably that you cannot actually help but truly respect it. So I really hope that was helpful. Let me know if you have any podcast suggestions that you would like to share in the comment section below. And as always, see you next week.